Hi, everybody. Welcome to Getting Your Degree with EOP. My name is Cyrus, and my partner for today is Luz. But before we start, I would like to congratulate all of our transfer students who just recently got admitted into UC Davis. We're very excited to see y'all on campus and really excited to see what your future will be like here at UC Davis. So for today's presentations, we would like to introduce EOP to all of you. And we also focus on our first gen to graduate leadership team services because our team is mostly cater our services to the seniors. And we also will have a panel at the end where transfer student will disclose their experiences here at Davis. So yeah, so if you would like to learn more about how to navigate UC Davis as a first gen and low income student, so stick around.
So some of y'all might be wondering, what is EOP? So the Educational Opportunity Program strives to improve the access, retention, and graduation of students who have been historically disadvantaged, either socially or economically. Some services we provide are advising by both career and peer staff, free test materials, a study lounge, tutoring. This is very broad, but if you want to know more about the specific services we provide, we invite you all to visit our website at UC Davis EOP or channel into any of the other presentations our fellow staff will be delivering throughout the week.
Okay, so our space is located in the heart of UC Davis. We located near the quad, near the Memorial Union. We also next to South Hall and right across from Olson Hall. So at our space, we have peer advising, like the PAC will be at the front desk for students to come in, ask for seeking for advice, or this is also the place where you can get your testing materials. You can get to get blue books and Scantrons when your midterm season or final season rolls around. We also have a very quiet study lounge and a community room. We also have retention specialists here if you need to see a career staff. Our staff coordinator also located in this location. So at EOP, we divided our PACs into 4 teams. We have, the first thing we have is academic guidance, then we have holistic needs, then social and personal, and first generation to graduate. So out of all these 4 teams, we would like to focus on first gen to graduate services because we think, because other team will also have their own segment that will tell you more about their services. But today we would like to focus on more what first gen to graduate can do for you. So let's meet the team first. Again, my name is Cyrus. I'm right here. I'm currently a 3rd year. I'm studying managerial economics. I'm from Stockton, California. And Luz is right here. She's currently a 2nd year studying linguistics, and she's from Watsonville. So we also have Vera. She does majority of our emails and a lot of logistics behind most of our events. And we also have Sierra. She's the PAC core that she sits on during our leadership team meeting. Yeah.
So some services we provide overall for any student. We have career readiness services. So we help you all practice your elevator pitch. We also provide portfolios, which make a good impression when you attend interviews. We also have professional attire. We have a Dress for Success workshop where we give out lightly used professional clothes. At this workshop, we also help y'all learn the difference between casual, business casual, and professional attire. And lastly, we have campus partners that help us deliver services. So we work closely with the ICC for resume checks, the OEOES department for professional development workshops, and the IE campus to fulfill basic needs. Some services that we provide specifically for seniors are the cap and gown rentals. So you keep the cap, but you have to return the gown. This is for fall and spring commencement. And we also have cap decorating materials that we give out. We also have senior picture photo shoots. So this is for fall and spring commencement. EOP seniors and EOP transfer seniors are welcome. And lastly, we have the senior banquet, which is a graduation recognition. And this is where you can get the first generation soul. These services are aimed to celebrate this special time as first gen and or or low income. This is a very important milestone in our life, so we want to make sure we celebrate all your hard work. Again, all of these services are free to EOP students. Due to the pandemic, these services may and will look different depending on how long this goes on for. But nevertheless, we strive to provide our students with the resources they need to ensure both a celebratory year as well as prepare them for the workforce.
Okay, so it's time for our panel. Here we have a couple of transfer students that have gone through a year or two at UC Davis, and they're here to talk about their experiences of being a first-gen and low-income students. And so I would have them to introduce themselves.
I can go first. My name is Vera Bell. I'm a second-year transfer student from Fullerton, California. Pronouns she, her, hers. I'm an English major, and yeah.
Raquel, you can go.
Okay, so my name is Raquel Rodriguez. My major is animal science. I am a second-year transfer, so graduating soon. My pronouns are she, hers, and her. Is that how it's said? And then my hometown is Corona, California.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, my name is Christian. My major is communications. I am a second-year transfer, and my pronouns are him, his, and they. And my hometown is Newark, California.
All right, so we can go ahead and get started with the first question, which is, what is one thing you know now that you wish you knew coming into UC Davis as a transfer student?
I can answer that. I feel like one of the things I should have known, I wish I would have known coming in as a first-gen transfer student, is that there's like support on campus for me. During my first quarter, I was feeling pretty ostracized, and I didn't feel like there was anything for me on campus. But through EOP, I learned there were other resources like pre-law, pre-grad advising, as well as like the Guardian Scholars Program. So I wish I knew that there were resources on campus for me.
Yeah. One thing I wish I knew coming into UC Davis is that I say specifically with the quarter system. I think one thing I wasn't really anticipating was how fast the quarter goes by. I knew that I had like an idea from my aunt because she went to Berkeley, but I don't think it was really much of I wasn't really prepared, So I think one thing to really prepare yourself for is coming into the quarter system is how fast it really goes by. So just being prepared for your classes and being organized, like having that time management, something that's very helpful. Because transitioning from the semester system from like community college to the quarter system, it can be very daunting. And so I think preparing yourself for that, you could just be able to manage other aspects in your life when it comes to being more social or your other aspects. Because if you get that down, then you're going to be more. It's going to be other aspects in your life are going to be made way more easier if you're just prepared.
Yeah, I wish I had known that, well, kind of like what Vera said, I wish I had known that there was a lot of resources on campus. I feel like my experience when I came in, I felt like I was bombarded with so much information that I literally kept none of it. So it would have been helpful to receive, I don't know, maybe like a paper, a list of resources I could check out. And then just like that advice of please go and check them out, because I didn't know they were going to be like, resources themselves are supposed to be helpful, and they're helpful, but you don't know in what ways until you go and check them out. So I wish I had done that when I first transferred versus like my second year. It would have been much easier to transition had I checked them out earlier.
Thank you all for sharing. For the second question, y'all feel free to answer. How do services offered by EOP at UC Davis differ from services community colleges offer, like EOPS?
Full disclosure, I wasn't a part of EOPS. I wasn't a part of EOPS at my community college, but from what I learned through flyers and actually talking to other transfer students who used EOPS at their community college was EOPS had the funds to like give out like book vouchers, grants if students were in need. And I think EOP here at UC Davis differs from that, from the fact that we don't necessarily give out like financial help in that way, but we approach monetary situations that students have in a more holistic sense. So EOP provides assistance to students by helping them apply for CalFresh, as well as like support for books through our lending library. So yeah, I think it's less so that it's like a actual like money in hand thing, as opposed to like what we do here, which is like a holistic, more personal approach.
So I wasn't part of EOP either at community college, but I think one thing, just in terms of when it comes to just services in general, when it comes to the school system, I would say that when you're talking about services that are offered on campus, whether it's a UC or a JC, I think one thing that's really going to help you is if you just have that mindset of just always looking for just what they have to offer, because there's going to be services regardless of where you go. But if you just always have that mindset of being able to just be more approachable and just looking to see what's out there, you're going to give yourself a benefit. Because at the UC level, I'd say that there's a lot of things that could go by past you because of just how big the campus is and how many people there are, and just so many things that are going on. It could be hectic. And opposed to the community college level, it might be easier to be able to navigate your way around campus because it's a more intimate setting. But professors you might be able to just get more close to easier just because it's a smaller community. So I'd say just regardless of EOP or not, just having that mindset of just being open to approaching the campus and wanting to just put more of what you get out of the college experience. It's going to do a benefit for you.
So I actually was part of EOPS in community college, and I'm part of EOP here at UC Davis. And it was essentially, again, what Vera said, EOPS in at least my community college gave us book vouchers. And I believe the only other thing was that they required us to meet with a counselor once a semester. Yeah, so twice a year. And if you didn't attend that, then you wouldn't get your book voucher. But EOP here, like I always go in there for Scantrons. So it's like, and I've also gone in there to talk to Christina Jackson too. So I would say that to me, like it provides probably like the same amount of services as EOPS at a community college, personally. Because there's always, that option that you can go in and see someone, talk to someone. They have the lending library, which personally I haven't used, but I've heard other students who transfers that said that it was helpful. But yeah.
Thank you for that. For this following question, y'all might have touched upon it very lightly, but just to answer the question more thoroughly, how did EOP help you navigate life at UC Davis?
For me, EOP has kind of become the nexus of my network here at UC Davis. It's under the Department of OEOES, which is the Office of Educational Opportunity and Enrichment Services. So I have a connection to the Internship and Career Center on campus, the pre-grad and pre-law advising, success coaching. It's also gotten me more connected with my college in general. Since I work as a peer advising counselor for EOP, I also work as a college liaison. So I'm one of the 3 college liaisons this year for the College of Letters and Science. So it's been really helpful that EOP has helped me extend my connections just beyond where I work at, but also as a student too.
We can move over to the next question, Luz.
All right. So for the 4th question, how was your first quarter like at UC Davis, and how have you grown?
Personally, my first quarter at UC Davis was pretty tough. I did not expect my very first class was like Monday, 8 a.m. Mandavi Center with like 500 students in a biochem class. And to me, that was like, I was just stunned. And it was just in general, my first quarter was pretty tough. I was homesick all the time. I came to experience more of like emotional issues like anxiety and depression and all of that stuff that I had not experienced before in my life, living at home with my family. So to me, it was like a big shock because I'm from SoCal, and then just the surrounding area it's a very different city from where I come from. So I would say my first quarter was pretty tough, and I wish, I don't know, I had looked for counseling or resources, as those resources are very underutilized, because I personally didn't think I needed them, even though now I realize I do, or I did. So yeah, that was my experience.
So I would say my first quarter at UC Davis was pretty crazy. I remember the first day I went to a class that I was not prepared for. You know, it seemed interesting when I got into it, and then like the first day, I already like immediately knew like, yeah, this class isn't for me, and it was like difficult navigating around campus because I like had nowhere. No, I didn't know like where anything was or anywhere, so it was pretty crazy. Apart from that, I wasn't homesick, but I'd say it was hard because you know throughout community college you're just very close to home, and so coming to UC Davis, I didn't know anyone, and it was weird just like living with a bunch of strangers on campus, you know, because I lived on the apartments right next to the Segundo dining commons, and so it was difficult, but you know it was very exciting at the same time. Um, I think in the ways that I've grown, I'd say I've become a lot more. Um, I'd say like less. I'd say I've become more confident in being able to just do the things that I got to do. You know, because coming into UC Davis, I did really question like whether I belonged here or not, and so in doing that, I felt like there's a lot of things that I could have done like more better. So I'd say just gaining that confidence and just knowing that you do belong here. I feel like that really helps you, because then your just outlook on just the quarter and just everything, you kind of get a better sense of like ability that you can do it. So yeah, I think I've grown in that way.
Thank you so much for your answer. So the next questions that we have is, what are some challenges you didn't anticipate as a first generation transfer student?
I feel like for me, it was the financial adjustment, because while I was attending community college, I was getting the Board of Governors fee waiver, which is now called the California Promise, I believe. But I was getting free tuition, so the only thing I had to worry about was books. Um, and then coming here, like I knew that I wouldn't have the fee waiver, the tuition waiver to cover me. I did get like the Aggie Blue and Gold plan, but that only covered so much too. And now that I had to pay for housing at the time, it all just added up. And like in addition to that, I also before I transferred here to UC Davis, I was also working full time. So my first year at UC Davis, I actually didn't work, um, and having to kind of like make ends meet, pay my phone bill, and all that stuff was really difficult. So I ended up taking out a loan through the financial aid office, um, and yeah, I didn't really anticipate having to go through all of that during my first quarter. Um, I mean, that in addition to like the culture shock, coming from Southern California to a city like Davis, as well as like how many students are on campus. It was all like a lot, but the financial adjustment, that was probably the toughest for me.
Anyone else would like to contribute to that question?
Yeah, I feel like I keep saying like Vera said, but to me it was a financial adjustment as well. Um, in community college, I feel like for myself, um, I feel like in a way I was getting paid to go to college because I had FAFSA and the Cal Grant and the Board of Governor fee waiver. And here it's like now I gotta pay for rent, whereas before I lived with family. Now I gotta pay for my books versus EOPS, which gave me money for books. And just as a first generation transfer student, it was I my parents didn't understand how busy I was, so uh, it was just like I tried expressing myself through phone calls, through all just communicating what I felt, quarter being fast and just like everything catching up, and I felt like I was falling behind, and I felt like I was not understood because they never went to college, um, and it was difficult to say the least because I didn't find any comprehension there. But yeah, that's mine.
Okay, thank you. So we move on to the last question. What is the EOP resource you use the most?
For me, it's the printing. As an English major, I write a lot of papers, and we usually have a lot of readings to do. Sometimes they're like PDFs, and the professors are really sticklers about you bringing an actual like physical copy to class as opposed to like something on your iPad or your computer. So the discounted printing that the EOP Cottage offers, like through their study room, is really helpful.
Anyone else? Oh,
I
sorry.
said it. No, it's okay. Sorry. Like I said it before, I kind of just go in there for scantrons. So yeah, that's what I utilize more.
Okay. So we have one more question. So how is your last quarter at UC Davis like in terms of this quarter?
So my last quarter, I would say that it's been very well. I think it's probably one of the best quarters so far that I've had at UC Davis. I think now, just opposed to when my first year was, I'm a lot more situated, a lot more. I know where more resources are on campus. I think I have a better idea of how to manage my time when it comes to having a heavier workload with classes. I also have a better sense of belonging because like I said, with not being as confident, I think what really helped was knowing when to just want to go home back home and knowing when to just want to stay. I think that really helps because you do get homesick. So I think one thing that's very important is your mental health. And so balancing that time management just between classes is really helpful. And also just knowing that you gotta be able to just keep in touch with the ones that you love, and just having that support group, I think, is very important. So now that I have that, those things all combine, and it makes for a really good, just experience. And so having that, it's been a very good quarter, to say the least.
We have enough time for one more panelist to answer that question.
Well, this isn't my last quarter. My last quarter will be fall this year. But I can say with like COVID 19 throwing a wrench in things that this quarter has been a little tough. I've had to drop a class because of the difficulty and the density of the readings that I had to do. And I feel a bit disconnected because I don't have like interpersonal communication on campus. So I feel a little less inclined to do the things I need to do. Like I usually don't work on stuff at home because I do better when I'm not surrounded by things that comfort me. Um, so, yeah, I can easily say that this quarter hasn't been the greatest, but I am still looking forward to my last quarter and finally graduating from UC Davis.
Okay, so that's all the questions that me and Luz have for y'all. And thank you so much for allocating your times for coming out today. We really appreciate it.